So pit, oh yeah, yins are crazy.
What's cracking? Welcome into the Chris Wormley Show, brought to you by yinzercrazy.com and sponsored by Steel City Wheelhouse, the best auto customization shop in the 412. Make sure you check out John at steelcitywheelhouse.com. He has multiple locations. They're doing great things over at Steel City Wheelhouse. I'm Mike Nicastro. I'm joined by Jordan York, and we're excited to bring you Chris Wormley in just a couple of minutes here. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that came out and enjoyed our tailgate this past weekend. We were there. Steelers kicker Jeff Reed was there. It was so much fun, JY. And are you eating right now as we're doing the intro?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have much time, but I didn't need much time because, excuse me, can't talk with my mouth full on case-specific meal prep. Every week, 5 days a week, right here, just heat it up, healthy, no more fast food. Goes great with the workout plan. Got me feeling good. Getting my veggies, getting my grilled chicken. It's excellent.
Wow.
Case-specific meal prep.
It looks really good.
It's out of this world, man. It really is.
I think everybody just turned off our show to check out case-specific meal prep at csmpgh.com. It's busy season in Pittsburgh. You're getting kids off to school. You're running around left and right trying to watch the Chris Wormley Show. Get yourself some efficient meal plans. I also want to shout out Nick over at P's and Q's Barbecue. It's not only the catchiest barbecue name in the business, but he was nice enough to bring us some chicken wings over to our tailgate this past Sunday. They're going to be serving on Saturdays in Carnegie some delicious barbecue. You can find out more on Instagram at PSNQ's Barbecue on Insta. All right, JY, we already know it was a tough week for the Steelers. We're still looking forward to picking the brain of Chris Wormley, who always has a glass half full perspective and some incredible inside the locker room insight for us. But obviously we're still keeping the faith 3 weeks in.
Yeah, I mean, people freak out. Like, I understand, the biggest issue right now that I see is the offensive line, but it's a new group. It's a young group. I have faith that they'll find the chemistry and, Big Ben is Big Ben, man. I don't care what anyone has to say about him. That is my guy, and I will go to battle for him any day of the week. So, yeah, I mean, Najee Harris had a real good game. We were there. It was cool to be back in Heinz Field. Obviously not the outcome, which we'll talk to our guy Big Worm about. But, you just got to take it 1 week at a time and just try and get better and work out. And I still have faith that it's early enough that they will do that. I like being optimistic. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to, be fixed. But if someone's going to do it, I think Mike Tomlin can.
Yeah, we'll talk to Chris Wormley about just what needs to be fixed and how they can begin fixing them as they prepare to take on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field this Sunday. Should be a great show. We got Chris Wormley for you coming up right now.
What's up, everybody? We are back with the Chris Wormley Show presented by yinzercrazy.com. I'm here with the man himself, Big Worm. How are you?
What's going on, fellas? I'm good, man. Obviously, Sunday didn't turn out how we wanted, but looking forward to next week with Green Bay and going and playing in Lambeau Field for the first time. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so, well, on a positive note, I've seen that you just celebrated an anniversary with your wife. Can you tell us about that?
You're actually the second person that said that. It wasn't our anniversary.
Okay.
Wife,
now we're clear in the air.
Yeah. My wife has an online clothing business called Offbeat Native, and she celebrated her 2 years of being operated. And just wanted to give her a little shout out. She supports me in everything I do, and I just love to return the favor anytime I can. So 2 years down with Offbeat Native, her online clothing store. So I had to show her some love on Instagram.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I just seen the post. So now I'm glad that we clarified that for our viewers and everything. So go check that out.
Happy anniversary to her. That's a big deal.
Yes.
And you too. So I'm glad we can celebrate that to start the Chris Wormley.
Exactly.
We celebrated yesterday, so it was good. We had a good night.
Yeah. So obviously it was a tough loss this weekend. What challenges did the Bengals offense give you guys?
I mean, we talked about it last week, but Joe Mixon, I mean, I think he was, either leading or a top 5 rusher coming into the week. And anytime you have a running back like that, that just opens up the play action passing. That opens up, some deep balls. You saw that in the 2-minute. drive they had. But he's just a dynamic player. Obviously, Jamar Chase on the outside. We knew he was a special player coming in just from what he did in college. And that chemistry that he had with Burrow from college clearly translated into the pros. So I think those two guys, presented our biggest challenges, and that's what we saw Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so obviously it was loud in Heinz Field, but it was for good and bad reasons. What was that like? Obviously hearing the boos and cheers, but is that tough, like, to balance, while being on the field?
It's definitely disheartening when your own fans are booing you, when you're not playing as well as you want to. I think everybody on the field, players, coaches, know that we didn't play up to our standard and play up to the way we know that we can play. So when you have the fans just beating that into you, series after series, quarter after quarter, it's a little disheartening. But we hear those boos, and if you think that if the fans think that they're disappointed or frustrated at our performance, we're just as, or even more so, frustrated in how we played on Sunday.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, Steeler fans take their football very seriously. That's no surprise around here. Big Worm. Let's get into a little bit more of that game takeaway. Obviously, you already touched on Joe Mixon. It seemed like the Bengals just kept coming at you guys with that stretch play. Was that something that you kind of prepared for on tape leading into it?
Yeah, that was their biggest run. That's what we prepared for all week. When you have a guy like that can make guys miss, he can break tackles, and he can cut it back. Sometimes, he's a pro. He gets paid. He got paid a lot of money to do what he does, and he's really good at what he does. So we knew he was going to break some runs, and I feel like we did a fair enough job bottling him up. He had a couple big runs that we wish we would have had back. But I think for the most part, we did a pretty good job. But yeah, that stretch play was their number one run coming into the game, and that was by far their number one run during the game.
They asked a lot of you guys on Sunday, not that is anything different than a typical game week, but you guys had a 6-man box plenty of times. Was that something that just changes based on game script and situation? Because obviously, you have a lot of pieces to account for when you're talking about Burrow, Chase, Mixon. But I saw you guys out there kind of, defensive line certainly looked a little thin, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, when you factor in the injuries that we've had over these last 3 weeks, I think that's going to be our biggest thing, is getting guys healthy, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We're really looking forward to having Highsmith and TJ back whenever they get healthy. Obviously, Tyson's going to be done for some time, so whenever he gets back, and I'm excited for Carlos to get back too whenever he's feeling ready. But for the guys that are in, we got to step up. And I know Cam's going to lead the way in doing that. And me being one of the older guys now, I'm going to have to step up as well and bring those younger guys along that are going to be asked to play a significant role these next couple of weeks.
Chris, obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers are an organization and a team, a group of men that prides themselves on never quitting, never giving up. The comments made by Bengals wide receiver Tyler Boyd, did they perk your ears up at all after the game? I'll tell you what he said. He said they portrayed to the whole nation on TV what they were about and how they gave up. Can you talk about the character of this team, Chris, and why that's not the case?
I mean, when you hear comments like that coming from a guy that's not in the locker room with us, he's not in our meetings, he's not in our huddles, he's not game prepping with us. I mean, I could say the same thing about, a fifth grade hockey team that I've never watched or never been at a practice or in a meeting with. So when someone says something like that, I take no, I'm not taking that with any type of legitimacy. What he says, obviously we're professionals. We're not going to give up. We're not going to quit. And that's definitely not what the Steelers are about. Our organization prides on winning and prides ourselves on fighting to the end. And that's what we're going to do week in and week out. So when someone like that comes in with comments like that, it's baseless.
Yeah. So we talked about Joe Mixon. Let's talk about your running back, Najee Harris. You go against him in practice every day. He had an impressive performance. What are your thoughts on that? And, what's it like going against him in practice?
Yeah, you could see he has the talent. Obviously, he's a first-round running back. You saw what he did at Alabama. the last 3-4 years. But now you get to see it live in person, which is super exciting. He got a bunch of touches, receiving and rushing this past game. So I think that's just a snippet of what he can do. When he gets the ball in his hands, he can make people miss. He can break tackles, and he has that extra gear to break away and have that breakaway speed that I'm really excited for him to continue to develop in the pros and can continue to develop his skill set in order for us to win.
Yeah, I agree. So obviously last week was Taco Tuesday. You got to, reunite with, your Michigan guy. Obviously he wasn't active, but what was that like? Have you been able to catch up with him and, kind of show him around Pittsburgh yet?
Yeah, it was great. I haven't gotten a chance to show him around. I guess I got to be his personal chauffeur when that time comes. But, it was good. It was great seeing him in practice. We haven't been on the field together. We were talking since we played in our last bowl game, 2016, against Florida State, Miami. So it was great to be back on the field with him. You can definitely tell he was a first rounder when you see him move and you see him play. I'm excited for him to finally get a helmet one of these weeks and prove what he can do.
Watching the Chris Wormley Show, brought to you by YinsAreCrazy.com, the Yins Are Crazy podcast, as well as Yinsylvania.com. Check them out for all of your Pittsburgh Steelers gear this fall. Big Worm, it never gets easier in this National Football League. You guys get a chance to get that sour taste out of your mouth this Sunday on the road, Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers. First and foremost, I imagine after a loss like that, you want to get back on the field on like Monday or Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I mean, if our bodies were feeling pretty good, we would have loved to have been Sunday night going through what we would have corrections, scouting the next team, doing game plans and stuff like that. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited for this challenge coming up.
Yeah.
Get to go to Lambeau Field, get to play against the reigning MVP. Davonte Adams is the best receiver in the game right now. Aaron Jones is tearing it up too. And they have a good offensive line. I know they got some guys hurt, but those guys, when I was watching Sunday, they look pretty solid. So I'm excited for the challenge again. It's going to be nice to go on the road. It's always fun to go on the road and play in a historic stadium like Lambeau Field. That's going to be crazy with the Cheeseheads and two-story history organizations going after it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're somebody who loves football. I'm sure that you would play in Shenley Park on Sunday or on a fifth grade hockey ice rink. It doesn't matter to you where you line them up, but is it just different, the allure of a Lambeau Field? Like when you get out there on a Sunday morning, does the air just smell a little different?
I think definitely like, rolling into the stadium. I talked about when we rolled into to the Bill Stadium that first week, just seeing the fans was a cool experience. But yeah, going into Green Bay, it's a small town. And football is their life there, so I'm sure their fans are going to be super excited. But yeah, when you go to a place like that has had so many great Hall of Fame players, so many great games have been played there, coaches, the list goes on and on. It's going to be a special moment for me, at least, to be able to play there for the first time.
All right, let's play a little game. We started it last week. I called it Word Association, but I'm officially changing the name to Worm Association. I don't know why that took so long. You already beat me to the punch a little bit, throwing out some accolades to some of these incredible Packers skill players. But I will start then with Aaron Rodgers. I give you the name. You give me a few thoughts on the player. So we'll start with, as you mentioned, the reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, yeah, MVP, game host, State Farm superstar. But I mean, football-wise, generational talent.
Yeah, I feel like he'd be pretty good on Jeopardy, Worm. Are you a fan? Do you watch it?
Big fan of Jeopardy. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you would be somebody who would do really well on that show.
That'll be a random category. My wife's like, how the hell do you know that answer? I'm like, I couldn't tell you. It comes in my head.
Well, you just set us up for some trivia next week, so perfect transition segue there. Don't study too hard. You got the Packers coming up, so but we're going to hit you with some unique questions next week, no question about it. All right, let's move on. Let's do Davonte Adams.
Man, best route runner in the league.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair given what he's accomplished. Saw what he did on Sunday night against the 49ers and that incredible comeback to get the Packers to 2-1. All right, here's one. Rashaan Gary.
Oh man, it's crazy because I haven't seen him since my last game too.
Sure.
But what I've seen so far, at least this year, he's really coming on to himself. There's been some injuries with the starters on the defensive line. I think that's allowed him to get in there and kind of make his make a name for himself. So I'm going to say up and coming.
I like it. And for anybody that does not know the context, Rashaan Gary, another Michigan man, just like our guy Big Worm. Show the T-shirt, JY. I don't think we've shown it yet. Let's see that. There it is. There it is. The early bird certainly does get the worm.
I love it.
We're going to get you one soon, and we're going to have you rock one on the show. It's also a perfect transition because it's time for everybody's favorite segment that lives, I think, west of Pittsburgh. Maybe we need to find a new title for this too. Wormley's Michigan moments or something. I'll work on that. I don't have it just yet. But Chris, the 14th ranked team in America. We knew the Scarlet Knights would be tricky. Did you get a chance to watch? And if not, any takeaways? Or if so, any takeaways?
I watched probably most of the game, and they were looking. Yeah. Michigan was looking great the first half, and then stalled out a little bit. Actually, stalled out a lot of it in the second half. But they made the plays when they needed to. The defense stepped up on that last drive and sack fumbled the quarterback and got the ball back so the offense could take a knee. But it's going to be a big challenge this week. They actually play in Wisconsin this week along with us, so that'll be fun down the street in Madison. Wish we could be able to go to the game. TJ and I were talking a little bit, and we're gonna find a little bet to wager. But I'm excited for them it'll be their first real test against a really good team. They lost against Notre Dame last week, the Badgers, but I'm excited. Camp Randall's gonna be a hostile environment. It's gonna be a great game for the Wolverines, and I'm expecting to win.
Tell me what a guy like TJ Watt says to you in the locker room before a Wisconsin-Michigan game. Is he kind of just saying the same things like, hey, big one this weekend coming up. I think we're going to get you. Let's put a steak dinner on the line.
Yeah, talk a little trash. I'm going to talk a little trash to Schobert and Loudermilk and Derek as well. So we have 4 Wolverines on our team now, and they have 4 Badgers. So maybe it'll be a team versus team type of wager. But yeah, TJ will talk his fair amount of trash.
Yeah, that you know what? Obviously, 2 dominant forces going against each other. It's always fun to have that friendly rivalry.
You could always settle it on the basketball court, as we talked about on the last episode. So,
yeah, TJ. I don't think TJ would fare too well on the basketball court with me, but.
Oh, I love that. You got to be careful with the hamstring too. Maybe that 5th grade hockey rink. I'm gonna steal that. Maybe that's where you settle it.
I've never skated in my life, so I think he might have me on that. I know those ponds up there freeze pretty quickly up there, so I'm sure he has a pair or 2 of skates back home.
Fair enough. Is that going to be a little bit weird? I mean, every time you think about Lambeau Field in Green Bay, you think about the chill in the air and everybody in the stands huddled up in winter gear. It's probably going to be 55 and sunny for you guys. You'll probably take that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when the schedule first came out, they picked the schedule out home in a way. They don't really give the dates yet. And I'm like, man, I hope it's in the first 7 weeks of the season, because Lambeau Field, after November, it's 30 degrees or less. And anytime you get in December, January, it's freezing temperatures. So very, very excited to play in Lambeau Field in October, and a lot better than being in January or December.
Yeah,
we're excited to watch. Go ahead, Jordan. I'm sorry.
We have some friends actually going up there, and they're probably going to be wearing our Big Worm shirts. So look in the stands for those. I'm sure they'll stand out.
Yeah, let me know what section they're in, and I'll take a look pregame and see where they're at.
I will.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. They'll be repping Big Worm, and as we always know, any Steelers road game, you still got a lot of terrible towels twirling. We cannot wait for it. We obviously wish you the best of luck. Chris, thank you for joining us. As always, every Tuesday here on the Chris Wormley Show, brought to you by yinzercrazy.com and the Yinzer Crazy podcast. And as I always tell you, most importantly, man, stay healthy, all right?
That's the goal. Stay healthy and win. So that's the goal this week. And thanks again, fellas, for having me, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
are crazy.
I know yins are crazy, but so am I. #1 sports site in the burg, let me show you why.